It was summer. The Quincy's were building a shelter for their vegetables, so they wouldn't scorch in the sun. Just then Mabel the magpie flew into the garden. She landed close to the Quincy's and wobbled her head from side to side, looking at them with one eye and then the other. "Wobbledy-dobbedy-dobbedy," said Mabel. "I have a message for you from the city." The Quincy's stopped working. Every now and then Mabel brought them news from their cousin Rosie, who lives in the city. News from Rosie was sure to be good news. "Wobbledy-dobbedy-dobbedy, Rosie is coming to visit. She will arrive at the rise of the next sun." "That's tomorrow," cried the Quincy's, jumping up and down and hugging each other. The Quincy's finished the shelter and ran around the house getting ready for Rosie's arrival. They made her a special bed from rose petals and collected fresh berries from the garden. Early the next morning, Rosie's bus pulled into Ladybird Lane. The Quincy's ran to greet her and squeezed her in a tight hug. "Quincy's!" cried Rosie. "It's been so long since I've seen you." The Quincy's made tea and sat with Rosie at their kitchen table, talking over one another to tell her about their recent adventures saving bees. They told her about the day Rock went missing and was found eating berries under a bush, and all about Sundrop's birthday party. "How exciting," said Rosie. The Quincy's took Rosie on a walk through their garden, showing her their strawberry patch, their beans growing on the vine, and their barrels of potatoes. They packed a picnic and walked down through the forest to the creek. Polly laid out a blanket and they ate beside the trickling creek. Mabel the magpie joined them and Sundrop gave her what was left of her salad. That evening after dinner the Quincy's were exhausted. "Oh, good night," yawned Rock, heading off to bed. "Oh, good night," yawned Sundrop, stretching as she walked up the stairs. "Oh, good night," called Polly as she too climbed the stairs for bed. But Rosie did not leave the table. "Good night," she called to the others. But instead of going to bed, Rosie got out her pencil case, found a piece of paper, and started drawing everything she had seen that day. A picture of Mabel, the strawberries growing in the garden, and a picture of the river. When she had finished, Rosie hung her picture on the Quincy's fridge. "There," said Rosie, "done." Rosie looked around the Quincy's home to see what else she could do. She went down to Rock's workshop, found some scrap pieces of wood. Rosie stuck them together to make a tower. She studied the tower carefully and decided the tower needed more colour. She looked around the workshop and found pots of paint under the table and a paintbrush. She carefully painted each block a different colour. When they had dried, she drew windows in with a black marker. "There," said Rosie, "done." Walking back through the garden, Rosie noticed that one of the bean frames had fallen over. She found a hammer in Rock's shed and hammered it in straight. "There," said Rosie, "done." Just then the light switched on in the kitchen. "Rosie," called Sundrop, "well, what are you doing? It's time for bed." "I just had a few things to do," said Rosie. "We have lots planned for you for tomorrow," said Sundrop. "You really need to sleep." Rosie reluctantly came in from the garden. She had mud on her boots, though, and thought she'd better clean them off before bed. She went to the laundry, found a scrubbing brush, and carefully washed her boots. "There," said Rosie, "done." She was just about to head up the stairs when Rosie saw a recipe for strawberry cake sitting on the kitchen bench. Rosie imagined how excited the Quincy's would be to wake up to a fresh strawberry cake for breakfast, so she set to work pulling out pots and pans and the ingredients to make the cake. Although she worked as quietly as she could, the light soon switched on in the stairwell. "Rosie," cried Rock, standing bleary-eyed on the stairs, "it's after midnight. You really need to sleep." "I'll be up soon," called Rosie. Rock sighed and climbed the stairs. But the banging and clanging continued, and soon all the Quincy's were awake and all were standing on the stairs. "Rosie, time for bed," they cried together. Rosie looked up from her mixing bowl. "Just one more thing," she said. "No," said the Quincy's, taking her hand and pulling her up the stairs. "There's nothing that can't wait until the morning." Rosie felt sad about her half-made cake. The rose-petal bed, though, smelt so good that she soon forgot about her cake, and as soon as her head hit the pillow, Rosie was asleep before any of the Quincy's.